Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. It is the 3rd of May, 2024. It is a nice day here in the UK, relatively. I don't know how things are going in Sweden, Piggus. Are things nice in Sweden right now, weather-wise? Yeah, the weather is quite nice at this time of the year. I mean, it's nicer during peak summer, which we are almost heading into. But of course, it is quite. There's a lot of rain, you know? Anyway, let's not discuss the weather any longer. Let's get into the actual stories. But before we discuss today's stories, I did want to quickly talk about a viewer comment. So I just wanted to go over some criticism, and it was quite constructive. So thank you, viewer, for actually commenting and giving a bit of feedback here. So I'm just pulling that up on screen now. But yeah, so basically it just said, just try and so it was to do with the first story we covered last week. And it's basically that, yeah, I was not sure about the BlizzCon, and I did not present it in a particularly good way. I messed up by saying, like, BlizzardCon and stuff like that. And in general, yeah, I just didn't cover the story well. And of course, I do want to try and cover stories in the best way possible. I want to have everything well researched. So, of course, that is, not up to the standards which I should be aiming for with this podcast, and viewers should be able to expect. So, sorry, guys, for that. Yes. Anyway, let's get on with the stories. Hello, Piggus. So, the first story today is Apple unveiling AI features, maybe at the next WWDC. So, there's nothing exactly confirmed here. These are some sort of rumors, some reports. So, this is from Apple Insider. It is not immediately apparent where this actually is coming from. So usually they will cite a certain analyst like Min-Chi Kuo, or another analyst. But with this particular story, they do not seem to have actually cited a specific sort of Apple Insider. I know it's the name of the publication as well, but so this is just Apple Insider in general stating this. So the actual rumor is that Safari will receive AI search. So it is called, apparently, intelligent search. So this will be coming with, if the rumors are to be believed, iOS 18. So, apparently, intelligent search will be a way for you to basically be able to read news articles and different web pages quicker with a summarized version. So it will apparently be using onboard AI. So there's the Ajax model, which they will apparently be working with for this feature. And overall, this is another company trying to integrate AI into their web browser. And this is a pretty nice use of it if you just want to read an article quickly. Now, of course, it might not get the details totally correct. I do feel it might be there might be a bit of a problem to do with it not actually giving you the correct details, or perhaps like paraphrasing a bit too much and not actually getting to the roots of the story, and not actually getting to what the story, is actually about. So yeah, I think there are some potential issues with this if the large language model which it uses doesn't actually summarize correctly. However, hopefully Apple do test this quite a bit before they roll it out. Yes. Do you have any thoughts on this, Piggis? I mean, yeah, it's cool, and I mean, Apple. I'm not sure. Is it Apple Insider that was saying this could potentially lead Safari to become like the biggest web browser on like Mac OS? Like, I'm not sure if it will allow it to overtake Chrome in the Mac OS space, but of course, Safari is not really available on Windows or any other OS except for Mac OS and Apple operating systems. So it does have a limited scope, but this is a cool feature for Apple users, if it does actually end up materializing. Now, aside from that, the only other features that you might be able to expect from Safari at the next WWDC is a magic eraser. So this works a lot like the uBlock Origin magic eraser tool, which basically allows you to click on a element on a web page and just delete it from your local version, from your local, the local web page. Of course, not on the server side. That would that isn't how it works. But on the client side, you can actually delete elements. And yeah, this is already a feature on uBlock Origin, so Apple are sort of copying it here. However, I'm not sure if this will be implemented slightly differently. Perhaps it will. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it will be a bit simpler to use, because uBlock Origin is not the most user-friendly extension. Yeah. Yep. Copying features from other projects. That is a great Apple move. Anyway. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, and also it's cool to see it implemented on something that regular users might actually end up using. Although in this preview here, it does not look like the most Apple tool, in the sense of it actually tells you what classes you're just about to delete off your, like, which CSS classes you're just about to hide. I'm not sure that would be on the final version without you having to enable something, because of course that might not be the nicest thing for Apple users. Of course, if you're not a developer, seeing some random name of a, CSS class might not be the nicest thing, and really doesn't fit in with the Apple minimalist aesthetic. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we'll see a bit of a change from this previewed version in this image here. But overall, I think the feature will stay relatively similar. Yes. But yeah, so just to quickly note, we will expect this on maybe to be announced on June 10th. with the other stuff at WWDC, including iOS 18 and macOS 15. And we can't exactly be sure about these features yet, because of course it's just a report. But yeah, we won't be seeing these features at the next Apple event, which is in fact only in a few days' time. I think it is May the 7th. Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, let's get on to the game releases. So, I wanted to cover a couple game releases this week. So one game that's been released this week is Moto GP 24. So this is a racing game, of course, and it is just a revision in the Moto GP series. However, it does add a few new features for fans. So there is apparently now stewards who can penalize both the AI and the player. So it will no longer be one-sided. You can now actually, see AIs getting punished for breaking the rules instead of just having the user, the actual player, being penalized. Now, both the player and the AI can be penalized. So that is a nice addition. It makes things more fair and more level playing field between the AI and the player. I suppose there'll have to be some randomness about when the AI decides to decides to violate the rules of the game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's implemented. But yeah, this is a fairly new release, so we haven't seen any reviews yet. Like, we have seen a few YouTube videos coming out about it, but there has been no official IGN review or any other real official game reviews, because it has only been released, like, yesterday. So yeah. Also, another feature for MotoGP fans is Live GP. So this will now apparently, so Live GP Championships, I mean. So this will now apparently allow you to play against other players and compete in championships. So this will apparently support crossplay for Xbox and PlayStation, but not Switch or PC. And now I am speculating a bit here, but I think Switch and PC users will not be getting crossplay because PC does have a bit of an unfair advantage compared to console, because of PC users can use mouse and keyboard, and yeah, that might be the reason they're not supporting crossplay on Switch and PC. But you can play crossplay on PS and Xbox. Yeah. And the second release, just gonna cover this one quickly. So Foundry has been released. So it is apparently a new game which allows you to basically collect resources, build stuff, and yeah, it looks like an interesting new strategy game. It's another one from Paradox, so you sort of see it's a bit different to most Paradox games, but you can sort of expect a strategic element given the involvement of Paradox, because they already because Paradox are well known for games such as Crusader Kings and Hearts of Iron, which are all basically strategy games. So I think you can expect more of those resource-based mechanics in Foundry. Anyway, moving on to the phone news. So, MediaTek may actually see a premium phone powered by one of their chips. So they say apparently MediaTek are apparently stating that they will soon have a handset which will be powered by one of their chips. Now, we don't know who the manufacturer of this handset will be, because, of course, MediaTek just make the chip for the phone. So, the most likely is apparently, according to this article, a OnePlus phone. However, we aren't exactly sure right now. But it will be interesting to see what chip is used here and what phone this actually ends up in. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to another story. So, speaking of the Apple event, which is coming soon, apparently they say that they will have a different kind of Apple event this time around. So, Apple are saying it will be different. We can't exactly be sure yet how. But apparently their new Let Loose event on May the 7th will be a different type of event. We're not exactly sure what will be announced. Perhaps an M4 chip. Perhaps a new iPad. We're not sure right now. But with M4 on the horizon, we're not exactly sure if the performance upgrade will be that great, and whether the performance improvements will really be that much of a step up from M3. So a lot of people seem to be suggesting it won't be much of a step up. But yeah. What do you think about this, Pigus? Okay, so um, why don't we move on to another iPhone story? So, apparently Apple are promoting their Find Your Friends feature on Find My, with a new commercial. So this is a Star Wars themed ad, basically with somebody who is dressed as a Mandalorian trying to find other Mandalorians in a convention center. I've watched this advert and it is interesting. I guess it's just meant to showcase how you could use this feature and highlight it to users. This is pretty helpful if you do want to actually be able to find your friends, perhaps in a crowded environment where it may be quite hard to find them. This could be very helpful. And yeah, the Find My network will help you be able to locate that person. So it's an additional use of that network, as well as being able to, of course, find your phone, your laptop, or your AirTags. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Pigus? Helpful feature? exact instructions you can get. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is. I mean, that is one aspect, of course, because some people don't want to be tracked by their phone exactly that. Because of course, previously there was different types of phone tracking, but now it is getting more and more precise, as you say, and it's starting to become creepy in some people's eyes. And yeah, of course there could be malicious uses for this technology, but overall it is pretty neat for those who, want to find a friend or find their device. I am aware that the desktop audio does not appear to be working that well. I need to fix that quickly. But we will not actually be redoing this bit of the show. I think I've been talking for the majority of the time, so I think that audio will be fine. But we will just have to fix Pegasus side of things. Okay, so say something now, Pegasus. You see, this is fun. This happens like every week. So we will have to quickly troubleshoot that. I think if I change this here, it should hopefully fix the issue. Say something now.
Does it work now?
Yes, it does. So we are back
Yeah.
up and running, and yeah, let's just continue on with the tech news. So the next story is about Microsoft banning US police departments from using enterprise AI tools for facial recognition. So apparently police departments in the US will no longer be able to use Azure OpenAI facial recognition. Apparently this is something that Microsoft had decided to do, perhaps to prevent police using this, and maybe perhaps abusing this technology. So of course this is going to have mixed opinions from the political side of things, but of course it is an interesting issue, AI, and whether it could be used for good or bad, and the potential harm it could cause in stuff like potentially being able to profile people, being able to kind of get better data on people, and whether that could actually be abused not just for catching criminals, but also for other more nefarious purposes. Yeah. And also whether it's an overstretch of government. That's another question. What some people will be asking.
Great, Microsoft.
Yeah. I mean that's actually that's do you think that's great, or are you being sarcastic? I think it's good. I mean, it's better to
Good
stop.
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to stop other police departments from using it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Cool.
can the Swedish police still use it?
No idea.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the last story. The last story. This is the end of the news here. So Boeing. This is a fun one. Boeing. Apparently, one of their 737 jets has been turned into a luxury villa in Bali, so in Indonesia. And of course, it's getting near the season where people may actually be going over to places like Bali, and this is an interesting use of a 737 jet. And of course, with the recent Boeing accidents and sort of controversies, perhaps some people may feel that this is the best use of their jets. Now I'm partially joking here, but yeah, there have been some recent accidents and a lot more problems with Boeing jets. So perhaps they were trying to make a statement here about Boeing, or perhaps it's just because it looks really cool. I feel it's more latter than the former. I mean, this is a pretty cool jet, and overall, it is a very picturesque villa. Yeah, unconventional,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, still looks pretty nice. I would go there. I don't know about you.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, let us know in the comments, guys, and in the live chat. Would you go on something like this? I mean, it looks good to me. I mean, it will cost you quite a pretty penny. With apparently it costing you $3,100 up to $7,300 per night. Now it does apparently accommodate 4 people, so that is a bit more reasonable than if it only accommodated 1. However, that is still very expensive for 1 night. Of course, you can rent places which cost that amount per month, so it is very expensive, and that would even be the upper end, of course, of rent. So you might not be able to justify this, but it is definitely an extravagant art piece, I suppose. It's an interesting thing to do, and it's an interesting use of a Boeing aeroplane. Just a nice one to finish off there. Now,
It's
yeah,
something like interesting to like take a look at and visit,
yeah,
but not maybe like rent.
I would sleep in there for a night, and then I'll probably like not anymore. Because it would be interesting. You could say I slept in the 737 with by myself with nobody else in it. And that will be a pretty unique brag, right? But
Yeah.
aside from that, I can't see much utility to this. I mean, of course, sharing stuff like this on social media. I just got a social media notification. Anyway, sharing this stuff on social media, of course, is going to get a lot of views and a lot of clicks. But of course, this may not be the most practical. But it's a nice story to finish off with. Yeah. Now, guys, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Come back next week for more tech news. I hope you guys are doing well. We'll have a bit of a shorter show next week. But yeah, I do. I will be actually making more content in the future. So please do subscribe. You can check out my website, sandrolinux.com, for more content. Hopefully this show has been good. I hope it has been, and thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.